Hi everyone, and welcome back to another bearly.art beginner-friendly video. This time we're going to be doing a banner, and in celebration of June and all things June weddings, we're going to be making a wedding banner. On Cricut Design Space, we'll be making this 5-panel banner using a bunch of free SVGs from our website, bearly.art. We are going to go through all the processes of how I put this together, and I'll give you all the tips and tricks we used. But first, I'm going to show you which SVGs we used on the website. So they are all free, a total of 6 of them that we are getting. All right, so just head over to bearly.art, and then I already have them here to show you guys which ones we're using. So we're using the Celebratory Champagne, Design Team Tin, the Lemon Cellos. We're also using the Colorful Flowers, Frames, Wedding Tux and Gown, Wedding Champagne and Cake, and lastly the Wedding Ring. She's going to download all of these. They are all free, so we just go straight to checkout, and we don't have to worry about putting in card information. You put in your email here, and then a billing address. That just goes into your account, but there is nothing to bill, so don't worry about payment information. Won't be necessary. You'll complete your order, and then you can wait for the email that will have them all in there, or you can download them straight from the website. They'll pop up here and load. Alrighty, so once you have those, you're going to put them all in Cricut Design Space. I already have them here, and I'm going to show you which ones I'm using. So we've got the frames here, the champagne, the tux and gown, the wedding ring, the champagne and cake, and the colorful flowers. All right, and the text font we'll be using is called Nexa Rust Script. It is from Cricut Design Space itself. I originally used another font. It's called Millennia, and it looked really pretty, but it wasn't on Cricut Access, so I wanted to make sure you guys would have some sort of way to find that exact font that I'm using, so I changed it to this one. So this is how the entire project will look. We'll be going through some offsets and then just kind of design and contour, as well as I believe we're going to do some inner offsets as well. Okay, so this is the entire project, and now we can build it from scratch using the SVGs we've downloaded. So we're going to start off with the frames. We don't need all of these frames. You can choose whichever one you want. I preferred this top left one. It just felt very fancy to me. So I'm going to go ahead and delete the others. I'm going to take this one and just drag it out of this group, and then delete the rest of them. Now I'm left with the frame that I prefer. And then for these SVGs, it came as a group. However, I don't need the cake or this champagne. I preferred this bottle. And then for this SVG, the tux and gowns, there's 2 other options. You can pick which ones you like, but I personally like the princess one. All right, so now we have all the SVGs. We're going to start with our base, which is using that frame. Okay, so each flag on the banner is 6.5 inches in width, and then about 5 inches in height. So I'm going to just change the size of this one to do the exact same. I need to turn and rotate this about 90 degrees. So it is more of a frame lengthwise. And as you can see, it fits right over, so we're on the correct track here. I want to take out the square in the middle because I'm going to just cover this, and it's going to need that support as the rest of the banner goes. So I can go to contour and click the rectangle here, and it will hide that. So now it's just one solid piece. I'm going to change it to gold. I'm going to use a nice fancy gold foil paper. And then we're going to work on for building the frame inward. So as you can see, there's 2 pieces here. And all we need to do is make an offset. So it's going to be a negative offset. The positive number here is going to make it go away from the original frame. And then if you're going negative, it'll go inside the frame. About 0.25 negative. Apply. And change that to gold. All right. Next part of the banner is the green square in the middle to kind of give it that frame look while still being able to layer on top. So this is just rectangle. This sizing is 4.691 and then height 3.109. It doesn't have to be that exact. Really, it's just kind of what you want to see in there. I'm just going to get a square here and then bring it out this way. I want to try and have a lot of space in my frame to work with so I can make the gown and tucks really big. But I don't want to get too close to the edges because I want it to still look like a frame. So it needs its spacing. So about there, I think I'll leave it. Change the color to this nice sage color. And then if you want to see it centered, you can align, center. All right, and don't forget to save your progress. All right, now we have the base of the entire banner. So I'm going to make this into a group and duplicate it 1, 2, 3, 4 more times. So Control D, duplicate, 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 and one more duplicate. Alrighty, I'm going to highlight all of them and align them vertically so they look like that. Okay, so now we have our first step out of the way. Now it's just about more decorating them and sizing everything to what we want. So I've got some flowers here. We have the colorful flowers, SVG, right here. And all we're going to do is change the color and sizing. So I'm going to arrange this and have it to the front now. So now it's over all of the pieces. And then it's in a group. I'm going to ungroup so I can start sizing them the way I want to. And of course you can use any paper flower SVG you want. I just like this one because it's got a lot of layers and each one has like 3 layers so it can be kind of floofy with its thinner petals. You can curl those in. We've done that before. There's a lot of different techniques to make them more 3D and I'll be using that technique. I'm going to curl the petals once we get them out. But for now, we're just designing still. So I'm going to change the sizing and the colors. I want them to be similar sizes. I'm going to bring it in here. And then I think I want this one down here. A little smaller. Okay. And kind of just putting it at the edge here, just like a little decoration. And when I started this project, I had a color palette, which is these more kind of muted tones. So I used white, I muted blue, and then like a kind of not dulce. It's just like a, I guess, still muted color of green. Tone it down so it's nothing bright or emerald. It's more like a sage color. And the center here, I wanted to add that like fancy gold color. So I'm going to be using paper foil and then also glitter paper. All right, so I just need to change the colors. I wanted the back ones to they're still part of the flower petals, but I wanted them to look kind of like leaves. So I made all the most back petals the darker green. So I'm going to open on the left, I'm going to open the flowers here on the right and then highlight all the backmost layers. I'm going to press Shift to collect those all in one group and then change the color all at once. And now for these 2 pink ones, I'm going to change those to match that blue that I have set up as my color palette. Whoopsie, I chose the wrong flower. So this one's actually supposed to be white, and this one is supposed to be blue. Alrighty. So those are my flowers. They still look a little big because I still want the gown and tux to be the center, or like what's going to catch your eye. I'm going to make these a little bit smaller. And just click them all and then use my corner to drag them in. About right there. There we go. And that is good with me. Now the centers here, I need them to be a different gold than the frames because I want those centers to be glitter gold. I want the frame to be a more foil gold when I get to my materials. So I'm going to highlight all of those and change them to that kind of pale yellow just so I can differentiate them when I'm actually cutting. Alrighty. So I got my flowers. I'm going to put them into a group now so I can duplicate them easily. 1, 2. And then I'm just going to Control D. I'm not putting them on every frame because I think that would be a little overpowering. But that is my personal preference. So if you want to put lots of flowers, feel free to put lots of flowers. But I'm going to kind of decorate the other frames with the wedding rings and champagne. All right. And don't forget to save your progress. Perfect. All right, now I'm going to use my other SVGs. I'm going to come down here to what I've brought. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and continue to decorate them, the banner. So I'm going to get the ring, the champagne bottle, and the champagne flute. And really, most of these are just about changing the color. I do need to arrange and bring to front again so they can go over everything. Because once you add something, when you group it, it'll go to the top of your list here, like this, and it'll be at the very top. So it will be, it'll cover everything else. So this one's not the very top right now. There's more up here. Let me just give you an example. Let me grab you. So it would go behind here. But if I grouped it with something or if I arranged it to the front, then it'll go on top of everything and I can see it easily. So that's what I did with these. I'm just going to size these. And rotate. And for the ring, I wanted 2 rings because usually there's like the diamond ring for the ladies and more of the wedding band. So I want to take the same circle though. I'm going to duplicate that circle. And now I've got both here. And then for this one, I want to create an offset on both of them, but I also want to make a blue background here. I could also change that for something maybe shiny if you feel like that, but I want the blue kind of to, without that background, the holes in the diamond kind of just white. And that's fine. I just kind of felt like it could be a little bit more of a pop of color if I can just add the blue in there. I'm just going to open this one, duplicate the ring, and I'm going to contour. I'm going to hide all the contours except I want this circle still here. So I'm going to click that one again. And now I can change it to blue. And I'll go right in the middle here. I need to be with, actually I'm going to put it in the group with my ring, put it behind, and then I'm going to collect all of them. And they are now in their group. I'm going to highlight the pieces and I want to make sure they're centered. So I'm going to align them center horizontally. Okay. Right, now I want to make this one have the offset and this one have an offset. I'm going to size them first so I kind of have an idea of how much offset I want to give it. Oops. Actually, I'm going to put them together so they size correctly at the same time. Center and then align bottom. If I align them center, because the ring is shorter than the ring with the diamond on it, it will do something kind of funny. It'll do like actual center of both. So I'm going to do align center and then align bottom. So now they're perfectly aligned. That way I don't have to worry about matching the sizes later. I can just throw it on here. And here's that. Let's grab this ring, put it here, And I'm going to give it an offset. It's going to be a positive offset because I want it to go out. I'm just going to play with this and see the sizing I want. 0.05 looks pretty good. Let me see what a 0.1 looks like just for fun. 0.1 is too big, so I'm going to go ahead and put 0.05. Apply. And then I'm going to change this one to white. And I'm going to do the same for the gold ring. I just need to get the back layer and offset that. I don't need to do the whole thing. Apply and change to white. Perfect. All right, so now I have my rings. I'm going to use glitter gold on the paper rings here because they're going to be on this the foil frame, and I don't want them to kind of get lost in there. So I'm going to change that to the pale yellow so we can differentiate later. And then I have these done now. I'm going to put them in a group together. And I'm going to duplicate them so I can put them on another banner flag here. Now all we have left is the champagne flute. I'm going to shrink that one down. Tilt it. It is pretty thin, so I'm going to try and make it a little bit bigger. Oopsie. There we go. And I'm going to change the colors to match everything else. We're going to do a white on top. We don't want it to be glittery on the inside, and then this little ribbon here is going to be that blue to match everything else. All right, now we're done with the frames and decorating that. This is how I would do it. You know, you guys can put in the comments what you would do instead, what kind of color tones or color palettes you guys like, and or what you would do different. Now we're going to decorate the insides of the frames. So I've got my gown and tux, and then the words here, Mr. and Mrs. This is the font I'm using, and then there's the gown and tux that I'm using. All right, again, these are behind, so I'm going to arrange bring to front. Then I'm going to size them. They are going to get pretty detailed, but I think our Cricut can handle it. Shrink down, kind of center, get a little smaller. I want to keep it pretty big. As big as possible anyway. Perfect. Now all I need to do is change the smaller details to make them match my color scheme. So we got pink here. I'm going to change it to blue. Ooh, no, I'm going to change it to gold so it's really nice and shiny. And same for the tux. Now these buttons are really, really tiny, so you don't have to use paper. We did practice it and it did cut, but they're so small, it's really hard to work with them. If you want to use vinyl, this is a great time to use that. Or if you have like a gold marker or pen, you can add them by hand. I can confirm they did cut. Duplicate this, and then I'm going to go over here and add it here to the last banner. And now all that's left is to add the words. So I'm going to open my text, and I already have it set to Nexa Rust script. Oops. Bigger and drag over here. So I'm going to put two offsets on it. It's going to be the white text, and then it's going to have an offset black, offset blue. So it's going to get a little bit bigger than what it is at right now. Mr. And then I think the text font I put is 179 roughly. I'm going to try it there. Go ahead and change this to white. And then offset. I want it more than a 0.5 offset. It's kind of hard to see, but there's a faint blue line that gives you an idea of how big the offset is going. I'm going to try a 0.1 offset. Looks good to me. Apply, and then offset that one and change the color. I'm just going to duplicate this again, and it looks a little wide for putting the offset. Once we put the offset, so I'm going to make this a little smaller. And then I'm going to add the offset, and then add the offset to that one. Change the color. We're all good there. And then only one more time for misses. Looks a little too long again. I'm going to shrink this one down. Okay, and add the offset, and add the offset. So they're not matching in size anymore, so I'm going to go ahead and change that. Let's see, the top of the width of the biggest one is at M, and it's got a height of 2.015. So I'm just going to highlight all of my letters here and change the height to match. That way they are now the same size. This one now, the and looks a little big in comparison, so I'm going to shrink you down a little. And there we go. You can use whatever font you want. Again, this Nexus Rust script was something that Cricut had on here, and I want something kind of cursive still, with a little bit of loop, but not too thin, because it will get very small when you start cutting out in paper. You can use vinyl, which is really good for thinner lettering, but I prefer using paper because it still adds just a little bit more depth. Alrighty. Now the other thing for lettering is that a lot of times they're broken up. So you can see that the S here is separate because there's this little line from the R. And on the text layer only, so I'm just going to click that one and then go down here to combine and weld. And now it's one piece. The same for the and. You can see that the D, N, and A have these little lines here. So I'm going to click that one, combine, weld. And Mr. I think is already separated. Yeah, so it's good. All right, and there's only one more thing. I need to change the color of the champagne bottle. So I used that blue, white, and I want to use the glitter gold because, again, it's going to be over on the foil. I don't want to get lost in there. So I'm going to open up the bottle, layers, and this blue. Change it to match my palette. And this one will be the gold. All right, and that's it. So this is how we designed this project. We'll be doing this one on a live, and I'm just going to make sure to save it. I'm also going to show you guys a little bit over here on once you start getting ready for the make. So make, I always like to check there first. It kind of shows me if I hadn't welded the letters, they would get split up. You can see that there. So I like to check make before I do anything, and so I can still go back and make some edits. And everything looks good here. I can delete the font example. There is a lot of colors on the tucks. If you want to change those so it doesn't use as many, feel free to do so. If you have lots of different colors, go for it. I usually change mine to be as simple as possible. And it looks like everything's pretty good. Now it looks like it could probably fit this last one up in this square. So if you're trying to save paper and make sure all your pieces are in one spot, you can click these ... move objects, move it to the one above, and then you can kind of play with it to see if it will fit after all. I'm going to turn it this way, and yeah, it would totally fit. So leave that there. If I go to press cancel and then come back, this will go back to its original positioning in that other page. But if I moved it and I'm ready now, I can just press continue and it'll work perfectly fine. All right, and the next step is to open your Cricut. It says it's a different Cricut than I have right here. Change my canvas. Oh, I know why. So I have a different Cricut than I was showing, so that popped up. It just you need to change the type of Cricut here. So there's these families: the Cricut Maker, Explore, Explore Family, Joy, Joy Extra, and the Cricut Venture. So I'm using the Cricut Maker. So I'm gonna go ahead and change that here, and then it will be able to recognize which one I'm using. Perfect, now it's connected. And also, like I mentioned earlier, I went canceled and came back, and so that last page did go back to the original way it was. I can still edit it and change it. This one will only let you edit this movement, so I'd have to go back to move it to the other page by canceling this section and then you're doing it again. That's okay, that's just for your information. You can go up here and then just walk you through the steps really quick. So here are all my pieces. I can get like a little visual. If I hover over it, it'll make it the example page or the little viewing there preview bigger. And then I can just pick my materials. So we've got glitter cardstock, which is what I'm going to use. Medium cardstock might be good for the foil. Cardstock, depending on which brand you get. And then light cardstock, and cardstock for intricate cuts is really good. That will go over with less pressure, but then it'll go over twice. So it will cut those really detailed ones. So some like the champagne flute would be good for an intricate cut. And I think that maybe the tinier pieces of the tux and gown. So very small little bow ties. Better to use intricate cut. All right, from there you would just click your material. And just for example, click that. Pressure, I'm going to leave it default. And then since everything here is paper, you would use your fine point blade. And from there you would click the flashing arrow light on your Cricut. It would load your mat with your material on it. And then you'd press the flashing C on your machine to begin cutting. So you'll just go through all of those until you're finished up and you'll have all your pieces. And that means if you did that, you'll be ready for the live. Alrighty, guys, that's all I have on the design. If you have any questions, please leave a comment. If you like this video, give it a good thumbs up. And please subscribe to our YouTube so we can keep making awesome videos like these. We appreciate you guys. I hope you enjoyed this video and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.